heeft gewoon gesaved. Nice.
Reconnection is successful. Okay. Hello, the stream went down, the power went down.
Yes, so the power of the laptop went down for our live stream, but now we're back. At least I hope. You should wait for alt state.
Yeah.
Ball placement by Tigers Mannheim. Now they will take a free kick, but we are halted. A nice chip pass, but it's the receiver couldn't make a profit from it. So Air Force has the ball. And these teams are both very good. They both are able to defend very well. It's already very difficult to just have control of the ball, and both of these teams seem to manage that pretty well. So Air Force is allowed to put their robot back in. Probably they had a technical difficulty, but because I don't see any yellow card. So there was probably one of the robots out of the field for maintenance. Air Force has the ball again. A very nice pass. It's a slow pass. It's they actually were lucky that Tigers Mannheim didn't intercept the pass. Now they have to try ball placement. But the ball is not seen by the camera. So we are halted again. Probably when we will start there will be a free kick for Tigers. Tigers Mannheim had the free kick but already lost the ball to Air Force. Now the ball went over the goal line, so there is probably going to be a corner. Maybe there was yes. Tigers Mannheim made they broke one of the rules. They probably had
too much robots on the field.
Apparently they had a robot too much on the field.
Second yellow card.
Well, this was ball placement, so it was not a proper goal. It was also one of the rules that has been broken. It's pretty difficult to see exactly what is going on there. I don't have all the information here on my screen. Well, there is Tigers try to just go for the shot on goal, but Air Force did intercept it very well. Now Air Force has to do ball placement and will take a free kick. It touched the ball, so the free kick had been taken, and Tigers immediately tries to intercept the ball. But it looks like the referee doesn't approve and still gives a free kick to Air Force. Air Force did try to kick, but there was not a robot to actually receive the pass. So currently Air Force is playing very defensive and Tigers Mannheim is very offensive. And the ball left the field. And Tigers Mannheim is able to do the free kick. So probably Air Force broke one of the rules by being too close to the ball. for the free kick, they have to have some space from the wall. If I recall correctly, it should be a half a meter. It could be that it's not properly detected by the cameras, so they couldn't move their robot away. If that is actually the case, then their yellow card would be invalid. If it was seen on the vision, then the yellow card is valid. I see someone removing the robot from the field, so apparently the yellow card is valid. There is some discussion. The assistant referee comes up to the referee. So it looks like it's a valid yellow card. Yes. So Tigers Mannheim for the free kick. An immediate shot at goal. Usually this never works in the SSL, in the small size league, because the defense is often very good. Here we'll see Tigers trying to do a pass. So the defenders are often programmed to just stay between the ball and the goal. That was a very nice goal by Earthforce. Oh, the ball was kicked too fast. It's actually, the difference is very small. The maximum speed for the ball is 6.5 meters per second, and the ball is kicked too fast, so it's almost nothing. It is, but apparently the goal is not legal. It's invalid. So in robot soccer, the ball speed actually has been limited, because if you would kick even harder, then the cameras actually cannot really keep up. That's basically a practicality, because if you would kick even faster, then there wouldn't be a game anymore. Then if the ball would go that fast, then you are not allowed to act. You cannot act on it. So that's why the ball speed has been limited to 6.5 meters per second. The robots don't have a maximum speed, so the robots can move as fast as you want, but even then they are actually controlled by using camera vision. There's a screw on the field. Barrett, there's a screw over there.
Yeah, I have a couple of screws in my hand.
So there are a lot of parts on the field, so that's why the game has been halted for now. It proves that robots can be pretty vulnerable sometimes. They take quite some hits. So collisions up to 2 meters per second are allowed. After that there will be yellow cards. A loose screw, that can happen. So both of these robots are pretty old. I know from Earthforce that their robots were built in 2014. So I wanted to say that the robots are pretty robust, but Tigers Mannheim just lost a new wheel. that can happen. The forces applied to these robots are pretty big. The robots are sturdy, but the game is pretty intense. The electromotors inside the robots for the wheels are often abused. We often put more voltage on the motors than is allowed by the manufacturers of the motors. Basically every team does that. The problem often stated by manufacturers is that the motors have a maximum speed at which they can turn to prevent overheating. but in robot soccer we just go for it. So the motors will get pretty hot, but you are not moving constantly. Sometimes you are moving still, and then it's fine. Ball placement by Force, and then they will take a free kick. They will probably pass to robot 2. Already the pass has been prepared, but Tigers Mannheim tries to intercept the pass. It's a very nice turn of Tigers Mannheim around the ball. That's a very difficult thing to do. There is, it's probably, it takes months, at least a multiple amount of weeks to program something like that, to properly turn around the ball.
I can't push it to the corner. No, it's fine.
A free kick taken by Tigers Mannheim. A chip shot. And Air Force almost intercepted it. The ball placement by Tigers Mannheim. A short dribble. But Tigers Mannheim is able to take a corner, but the pass fails, ball left the field again, so there will be a free kick for Air Force. But first they have to do ball placement. I'm impressed by the quality of the ball placement done by these two teams. Ball placement almost always works, which is already a great achievement. Ball placement is a rule that has been introduced, I believe, 1 or 2 years ago. So before that, it was always the human referee was always placing the ball. Now the robots have to do it. So in robot soccer, every year there are some new innovations that need to be made. There are some new rules, and ball placement is one of the more recent rules. This year the rules didn't change a lot from last year, but for next year there will be a lot of changes. So this is the last year in the robot competition A that the field size is 6 by 9 meters. After that they will double the field size to 9 by 12 meters. That was a very nice interception by the keeper from Tigers Mannheim. Apparently a part has been lost. There is an intervention. It looks like there is a half time. So we just passed the first half. It's still no goals for both teams. There's a lot of apparently there are a lot of passes not received properly. So probably have to find out what's the problem. Maybe the vision is not configured completely well. So we'll be back in a few minutes with the second half, and let's see. It's apparently Air Force is holding up very well against Tigers Mannheim. This morning they lost with 2 goals for Tigers Mannheim. But, who knows? Maybe Air Force might have a proper revanche today. At this moment you will see a lot of people turning the caps off the robots. A lot of batteries are being replaced. So the batteries are actually lithium polymer batteries. Those batteries are a little bit experimental. So sometimes it's a little bit of a hassle to transport these batteries, because in airplanes it's not allowed to have these batteries in your luggage. So you have to keep them at your hand luggage, because they sometimes can explode. If you would see an explosion by one of these lithium polymer batteries, you're up to see some fireworks. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because then we have to evacuate this building, which is unfortunate for the game. This is Lucas from Robot in Twente, and I'm not sure how long you've been watching our live stream already. We're currently in the halftime, so we'll be switching sides in a few minutes, and then we will continue the game. It's still no goals for both teams. It's a very nice game for both teams. Both playing very well. Let's hope to see some more spectacle in the second half.
Kunnen jullie een beetje horen wat ik zeg? Ja. Hebben jullie er wat aan of moet ik?
Ja, ik vind het echt super chill.
Wat mooi.
Anders heb je echt, dan heb je geen flauw idee wat er gebeurt. En dan voel je dus kan je ook helemaal niks. Dus dan,
Ja, ik zie het steeds beter, zeg maar, wat er gewoon gebeurt.
Ja.
Dat is al heel fijn.
Hoe lang is de pauze?
5 minuten. De timer loopt als het goed is. Oh, daar niet.
Nee, het is altijd echt super chill als je een beetje...
Ja.
En ook livestream van City straks.
Dat doen we het ook.
Ga je dan ook commenten?
Ja, ik vind het goed hoor. Ik vind het wel leuk, een beetje commenten.
Ja. Een beetje voorbereiden, een beetje schriftjes en zo, wat verhaaltjes.
Ik zal zo wel wat anekdotes doen. Maar het is best moeilijk, want soms gaat het opeens heel hard. En dan moet je echt je verhaal afkappen en doorpraten. Want anders...
Ja, maar dat is niet erg.
Ja.
Oké, nog een pen, payroll.
Gewoon in the meantime, en dan gewoon doorgaan met wat jij zegt.
So the most of the batteries has been replaced. So the ball has been placed at the exact spot in the middle.
So the referee will soon give the stop command. The stop command is actually some kind of formation, but not really. It allows two robots to be half a meter from the ball, and the rest of the robots have to drive slowly. Both teams can already do some preparations already for the kickoff. So first the referee will indicate the stop command, then the referee will indicate the prepare kickoff command, and then a normal play will be signaled. And when normal play is signaled, then one of the teams is allowed to touch the ball, and when the ball has been moving for more than 5 centimeters, that would indicate that the kickoff has been taken, and both teams are allowed to continue the game. So both teams have, every team makes their own robots. That's already a challenge. It's always interesting to see different design choices for the robots. This year Tigers Mannheim has touchscreens on the robots. Those are currently not visible because the colored caps are on top of the robots. But for seeking out problems and configuring the robots, they have touchscreens on the insides of them. It's very impressive to actually see how that works. They also have one of their new robots in the field, and they have some status LEDs on them. So even from the sides of the field, Tigers Mannheim can see what's going on in the robot. If it tries to be offensive or if there may be a problem, the colors of the eyes of the robots will actually indicate what's going on there. I'm not sure if that robot is currently in the field though. I am not seeing it at this moment. You'll probably see that robot more in the RoboCup in Sydney, Australia in 6 weeks. Then of course we'll be there as well with the live stream.
There the robot is placed. So this robot that's currently being placed in the field has some nice status LED in the eyes of the robot. Unfortunately, the robot is facing away from us. Obviously, it's facing towards the tigers. Force is also playing with old robots. They have some new ones already in the making, but not all of their new ones are in the field. They are currently experimenting with smaller wheels. Smaller wheels can give more torque, but they also veer down a little bit faster. I might be confused here. Maybe it's Tigers Mannheim that has the small wheels. I should actually look that up. This is the stop strategy. These are formations. Now both teams are in formation again. It looks like Tigers Mannheim has two robots that want to stay on exactly the same spot, but that problem has been fixed already by their AI, and the game has begun again. Force is relatively offensive.
Oh yeah. Is this robot team? Yes. Yeah, I think that's robot.
Now the robot from Tigers Mannheim is visible. It has the colored eyes to indicate the status. It's in the far left side. On the camera it's not very clearly visible. It's one of their new ones. Now the assistant referee has to intervene because the ball was not visible. One of the robots was actually blocking the side of the camera, so the camera didn't detect any ball. So colors are very important for this game. We have used a lot of curtains to block sunlight because the system is very sensitive to light. The ball is clearly orange and the robots have specific dots on them. This is for the vision to detect which robot is where and what its orientation is, what its angle is. And there is a free kick again, and there already was a fault there somewhere. So apparently blue dribbled too far. So robots are allowed to dribble for at maximum 1 meter. If they dribble more than 1 meter, it's considered a foul. I see some discussion at the referee table. Apparently Force is having a discussion with the referee. But the referee didn't see any dribbling. I didn't see any dribbling either, but the auto referee did see it. So we have a human referee. We have the human referee has the final say when there is a discussion. We have the assistant referee. The assistant referee can place the ball inside of the field, and it tries to solve problems with the vision by placing the ball back into the field and such. We have a vision expert that is constantly recalibrating the colors of the robots, because when the sun goes behind a cloud, the lighting in this room already changes too much. So we have to do some recalibration to actually keep the robots properly in sight for both artificial intelligences. But there is also an auto referee, which is relatively new. The auto referee is basically a system. It's a program that watches the field and tries to detect the events in the game. And this way the auto referee can also watch very closely the velocities of the ball and the velocities of the robot. For example, collisions. When a collision happens between two robots, the fastest robots will have committed a foul. and will therefore receive either a free kick against it or a yellow card. Apparently there is a penalty for yellow. That is because there is the third yellow card for Tigers Mannheim. So here we will actually see a chance for our force to take their revenge. It's very important for the penalty that there is not a double touch. When the robot touches the ball, it has to shoot immediately, otherwise the penalty does not count. Apparently the penalty has been missed and we will immediately traverse into normal play, but because the ball passed the back line, we have to do a corner already. The corner is for Air Force. Another chance, they brought already almost all of the robots in the front. Tigers has to defend. So one of the robots Tigers tries to intercept the pass towards the robot towards the robot more in the back from Air Force. My prognosis is that Air Force will try to do a chip pass. It looks like just after the penalty of Air Force had been taken, they committed a foul, and now Tigers has a penalty. So just after we got to see a penalty, there will be another penalty, but this time the penalty is in favor of Tigers Mannheim. Will they be able to win again from Air Force? There is still quite a lot of playtime left. Apparently one of the robots was too close to an opponent in the defense area. It was 8 centimeters. So in robot soccer it's actually not allowed to enter the defense area of the opponent. One of the differences with human soccer. This actually has to do with some other rules. It's in robot soccer. It is allowed to take a pass after the line of defense from your opponent, but you still by not entering the defense area, there is still some necessity for a pass. It's therefore not allowed to drive the robot into the goal because it's very hard to defend against such a thing. So, small size league robot soccer is all about tactics. There are some other leagues, for example the humanoid league. Those robots look a lot more like humans, but there they have a lot of other problems, mainly in controlling their robots by standing straight and trying to kick. Then there's the medium-sized league. Those robots have wheels as well. Those are quite a bit bigger. And in the medium-sized league, it's not allowed to have cameras above the field. So every robot has its own camera. And the medium-sized league really tries to have robots working as separate entities. And in small-sized league, we actually have cameras above the field, and it's all about tactics. It's all about finding opportunities by blocking off certain passes, about working as a hive mind. So the robots have to work together to come to a score. If you have questions, by the way, please be sure to ask them on the YouTube channel. You can just type a comment. Anything you would want to know. Wat is er, Rolf? At this point, the game is halted. It looks like the yellow card by Air Force has been revoked. So it's likely there won't be a penalty by Tigers Mannheim, but there is some discussion at the referee. So we have to wait until we decide what happens. I can understand them a little bit from this distance. It looks like they are discussing whether Urforce deserves the card or doesn't. And apparently, they'll just continue with normal play, and that is a goal. That is a proper goal by Urforce. The outer referee already immediately decided that it is a goal. Currently, the human referee has to check whether it was a valid goal, but it very much looks like it. It was a beautiful goal. From the corner, a nice pass towards one of the attackers, and the defense of Tigers Mannheim was not fast enough to intercept the pass. So Air Force is actually taking the lead in this game. The difference from this morning, where Tigers Mannheim scored 2 goals and Air Force didn't score any goal, and now we have a beautiful goal made by Air Force, and it's a question what Tigers Mannheim will do next. Apparently their keeper is not there. And the other robots are not allowed to enter the defense area, so apparently we have to wait for their keeper to return. It might be very well possible that the game is halted, or that the keeper is currently not visible by the cameras. Probably both. Ja, heel leuk dat je was. Heb je er een beetje vermaakt? Ja, mooi. Ik vind het ook tof.
Ik ben heel benieuwd als het van jullie allemaal ook...
Ja, ik baal wel dat het allemaal niet gewerkt heeft. Laat zien. Okay. Dit is al een stuk beter.
Ja.
Vanochtend speelden ze nog beter hoor, dan nu.
Sorry?
Vanochtend speelden ze nog beter dan nu.
Ja?
God ik bij wel in ieder geval.
Ik vind Air Force wel beter voor de Tigers valt niet op.
Ja.
Maar Tigers heeft voor één wedstrijd niet gespeeld.
Ja, die zijn eigenlijk nog wel spelen geweest, toch?
Nou, daar hebben ze wel 44 minuten tussen.
Hey jongens, succes. Bouwen.
Dankjewel. Heel leuk dat je er was. Had Mirjam nog wat gezegd toen ze wegging?
Ja, doei.
Ja, oké.
Nee. Misschien dat ik het wel een keer kunnen solderen, dat is wel leuk.
Ja, goed.
Als ik tijd heb, moet even kijken hoe het loopt. Ziens.
So there is some discussion with the referee. It's unclear to me what's currently going on. It could be that the vision is off. Furthermore, it looks like people are getting tired a little bit in this room. we have been playing games for the whole day already. It's not currently really visible, but some people of Road Team Twente are currently working on their communication. So the previous match, Road Team Twente, was a little bit a deception. The robots, there was a problem with the communication, and it has not been resolved yet. So I see a question here on the YouTube channel. Is Tigers Mannheim playing with two different robots on the field? And the answer is yes. One of their robots is different. It's the robot, one of the robots closest to the camera actually. It's completely black. And the wheels are actually inside the cover of this robot. And it has a lot of changes. It has two eyes, and the eyes indicate status LEDs on which the Tigers can actually see what is going on inside the robot. And also they changed the wheel size, so the size of the wheels is much smaller, and it gives quite some more torque to the robot, but the wheels might also wear down a little bit faster. We are looking forward to see more of that robot in Sydney in a few weeks. But their new robot looks very promising already, especially with when the eyes turn red and the attack is indicated. It looks very cool. Another manual ball placement. Still some discussion by the referee. It's unclear to me what is going on there. It might be that the vision has been giving problems. The weather outside has been changed completely. So just 10 minutes ago the sun was shining, but at this point it's raining here. It has a slight influence on the lighting conditions in this room. But only a slight deviation in lighting conditions can already give large problems for the robots. The cameras are pretty high up here. They are placed more than 4 meters high. So because the lighting changes so much, actually it's sometimes problematic. Especially for cameras usually it's difficult to distinguish between orange and pink, and it's also difficult to distinguish between yellow and green. Those are two colors that are usually very close to each other while calibrating this. Air Force is taking the ball again, but it lost vision. So the cameras lost the robots, and then the robots are not seen by the camera anymore. The AI does not really know what to do. So you cannot really change the direction of the robot, but you also shouldn't drive further. So most of the robots just stop doing what they were doing to prevent crashing into the wall. Some teams try to drive back into the field, but yeah, that can be pretty risky. Mostly the game is just halted immediately when it happens. I get another question. What sensors do the teams use to properly control the motors? That's a very good question. As far as I know, we have some teams using Maxon motors. They have encoders in them. So with these encoders, actually it can be detected what kind of the speed and direction of the rotation
could be derived. Besides that, every team uses a different system, and for Tigers Mannheim and for Air Force, I have to admit that I do not know how they would calibrate their robots. I can speak for Robots in Twente though, that's of course my own team. We have a extension chip, it's an accelerometer which works in multiple directions, and using that chip we can estimate where we are in the field and how fast we are driving and in what direction, and we use that to tune our controllers to properly control the motor. So my guess would be accelerometers for these teams as well, but it can also be done using the cameras, although that's a little bit less reliable.
So we're back into normal play again. There is a robot misbehaving by Air Force. It started turning very fast, like it was doing a pirouette. For my experience, if you do that for too much time, then you will actually destroy the carpet. It would not be the first time that burn marks would appear on the field. There are quite some forces applied to these robots. It's unknown what problem could have caused this. It could be anything. It could be a motor control, but it could also be it could also be camera. So I know from one of the problems Robot in Twente once had is that a robot would turn and it would match the frame rate of the cameras of the field. So according to the cameras, it would actually think the robot was moving only a slight bit, while instead of turning 10 degrees, we're actually turning 350 degrees every time. Yeah, that could also be a problem. It messes up your calibration quite a lot. Yeah, it's hopefully our force knows the problem, and let's hope it doesn't occur again. There it occurs again. So the rest of the robots are halted. Apparently there is a problem with Robot 5 of Air Force. It's been taken out of the field for maintenance. It will most likely be replaced with another robot. So we have to wait again, unfortunately. Yes, it's a problem in robot soccer. A lot of times there is a discussion with the referee, and it's robots that aren't moving. Very sad. It is expected that every year the time that robots are not moving will decrease. Every team is progressing quite a lot, and the technical difficulties are tackled one by one. And if you would compare this game with a game from a few years ago, it's already a very large improvement. but for now we have to do it with this. And as I already said before, it's very difficult to keep track of all the variables. It could be cameras that are wrong, it could be robots that are wrong, you have mechanics, electronics, you have control, and then there is of course your artificial intelligence. And in artificial intelligence there could also be a lot of unknown variables there. Sometimes you don't really know what your computer is trying to do, and in that case sometimes you just have to make an educated guess on what to replace. Do you need to reboot your system, or do you need to replace a robot? Sometimes you just don't know and you have to take a guess. But for now it's apparently the problem by Air Force has been fixed, and they placed Robot 5 back into the field. So I personally would suspect it's their artificial intelligence that has been rebooted, or their robot has been recalibrated. So in case you're wondering, you're currently watching a live stream for the practice game organized by Robot Team Twente in Enschede, the Netherlands. And the person you're hearing right now is Lucas from Robot Team Twente, giving some live comments here. So I hope you appreciate it. We still have some playtime left. 3 minutes of playtime, if I see it correctly. But we're already in the second half, and it looks like it's 0-0 again. Was er niet een goal bij Air Force, of was dat invalid?
Nee, hij was invalid.
Oh, oké.
Die was niet geldig omdat Air Force had een goal gemaakt, maar toen dat gebeurde alleen omdat stop midden tijdens de schot werd gekald, omdat hij te snel was.
Aha, oké.
Dus,
So,
ghost robot on the side of so the referee just freaks out.
Sorry, what happened?
There's a ghost robot there, so the referee just freaks out because there's one more robot than there should be.
Oh, okay. I just hear from the assistant referee there is a problem with the auto ref. There is a ghost robot on the side of the field. So apparently there are these blue and yellow cables on the side of the field, and it might be that these cables are being seen by the camera and interfering with the vision system. The vision system might think that there is a robot over there, and apparently that robot over there is breaking some of the rules. So the human referee has to look very close if the auto referee is actually being fair. That means if there is a foul, we have to check if that foul is not being done by the ghost robot. So according to the systems, there is a robot at the actually just below the referee at the place in the middle of the field. It's about half the length. Just at the side there is, according to the vision system, there is a robot over there. So Tigers Mannheim is defending, and they just intercepted the ball, and they just put in a new robot, which is immediately trying to go for the offense. But Air Force is playing quite strong actually in this game. It looks like Air Force is very offensive, more offensive than they were this morning, and it looked like that an offensive strategy works against Tigers Mannheim. They're a nice chip pass. Yes, I would personally consider the shots immediately at the goal. The Tigers Mannheim tried it already more often this game. They just try to shoot at the goal, and actually they're just giving the ball to Air Force. I would personally consider this as a mistake, because Air Force is a very good team, and they are these defenders of Air Force. You should just look at them. There is one of these defenders that's always staying between the ball and the goal, always. And then there are these other defenders. They are intercepting the passes. So it's really great. And for Tigers Mannheim, you are not going to break that defense by just shooting at a goal. With some teams you could try your luck, but against Air Force it's pretty much hopeless. You have to come up with a tactic, a pass, a quick pass, or maybe some trick shots or something to break that defense. I personally have the feeling that the Tigers Mannheim should throw a little bit more robots into the offense when they are in control of the ball. Tigers Mannheim has one robot in the offense right now, and all the other robots stay back. So apparently we now have ball placement. But if Tigers Mannheim wants to score a goal, they should probably try to have a little bit more offense. Apparently Air Force Robot 5 has technical difficulties. It already hadn't moved for a while. It was the same robot that just turned a lot of spins. So yeah, let's hope for Air Force that robot that it is an easy fix, that it didn't break entirely. And they have currently replaced it with Robot 1. So the Tigers Mannheim has given their robots some funny names. So their keeper is Gandalf, and they also have Yoda, and they have some other fancy names. So one of the robots is called Q. I suspect that's a reference to Q from James Bond. And there is Tigger. Only their new robot doesn't have a name yet. It does kind of remind me of RoboCop. It has the same kind of black in it and those colored eyes. It's an impressive robot. A robot tipped over. One of the robots of Tigers Mannheim. It tipped over. So for most robots, the batteries are in the top of the robot. So when they brake too hard, they would actually tip over. It's always a challenge for teams to get the weight of the robot as low as possible, because if the weight in the robot, if the amount of mass inside the robot is lower to the ground, you can use more of your mass to use it for friction, and there is less risk of toppling over, and you can brake harder and accelerate harder as well. It looks like Tigers Mannheim has certainly put 3 robots in the offense. That sounds like a proper tactic to me. I am looking forward to see a nice offense from Tigers Mannheim. But at this point we have a free kick for Air Force. But unfortunately they already miss a pass, and the ball is back at Tigers. And they have to do ball placement first. And now they will try the shot. And you can immediately see that Tigers Mannheim has 3 robots in the offense, so it looks like they have changed their strategy a little bit. And that was a very nice pass. And for Tigers Mannheim to put a little bit more robots in the offense is apparently already... They have so much more initiative there. Yeah, there has been a fall, I think. Yes, one of the robots of Tigers has been in the defense area, so it actually should have kicked there, and it probably might have scored, but unfortunately it didn't. People are entering the field again. We're also running out of time.
No time left anymore.
I see the data on my screen is a little bit deprecated. So the game has been finished. So it's an equal game. I still have some questions on the YouTube channel. Can they do backflips? That's a very funny question actually. I do have a video of a robot doing a backflip. Robot Team Twente is able to do a backflip. Today the Robot Team Twente was not really able to play a decent game of soccer, but they are able to do backflips. So I do hope people are giving some credits to Robot Team Twente for doing backflips. Maybe we can compete with Boston Dynamics one day, but in the Robot Soccer League we still have to do some serious programming to compete with Urforce or Tigers Mannheim. They are really, they both are great teams, and currently you see a lot of people blowing inside their robots. There is a lot of dirt from the field. Maybe the robots have heated up a little bit, so the motors are pretty much abused sometimes. Everyone needs to do some maintenance. I have another question. If teams are using 3D printed parts of machine funds. So the teams you're currently seeing, they use mainly machined parts. That's for robustness, but often for prototyping. 3D printing has been used to quickly test if certain wheels have proper sizes. I have been recently involved with a production process of Robot Team Twente, and there a lot of 3D printed parts are being used. However, 3D printed parts tend to break because the forces applied to the robots and the forces inside the robot can be pretty intense. So often the 3D printed parts are used for testing, and when a final decision has been made on the design of the robots, there is an order for metal gears, metal parts inside the robot. So it's usually you see a lot of metal or POM. It's a certain kind of plastic which works better than 3D printed parts. There are some exceptions, of course. Some gears that do not need a lot of force on them can be 3D printed very easily. So the dribbler could, for example, use 3D printed parts, but these teams don't do that. I have a new question here. Lucas Cavalcanti asks when the next game starts. I'm very sorry about this. This was the last game of today. One of the games has been cancelled. It was the game against of Urforce against Robot Team Twente. Unfortunately, Robot Team Twente didn't get their communication to work, so that game has been skipped, and a final has been played, which is actually the rematch between Tigers Mannheim and Urforce. And this was the last game of today. So unfortunately for Robot Team Twente, they have played only one match and they couldn't shine. They had only a few working robots. Two robots actually were trying to defend, but against 6 offensive robots of Tigers Mannheim. Robot Team Twente was not able to defend against that and has lost with 10-0. So yes, this has been the last game of today, and also this has been the last game of the practice tournament. And as far as I can tell, all the three teams have been learning a lot from this experience, from this tournament. and every team will go home tomorrow, and we all have 7 weeks left until the RoboCup in Sydney, Australia, to improve on our robots. So I'm really wondering if R-Force and Tigers Mannheim will get their new robots to work. So we already saw the new robot by Tigers Mannheim, and as far as I can tell, it worked very well, and especially the new design was very cool. And we are looking forward to see those robots again in Sydney, and we hope they can finish their new robots in time. At least they know that their new robot is reliable. For Robot Team Twente, it's still a question if they can get their robots to work. We really hope that in Sydney they can show whatever they've got, and let's hope they learned a lot from their experience today. Apparently there was a problem with the communication. They had some in the testing environment, everything seemed alright, but when the robots were placed in the field, sometimes the commands for the robots were not processed properly, causing the robot to enter some kind of deadlock, and they need a hard push to be pushed out of this deadlock. And unfortunately, it's for Robot Team Twente, it's not allowed to have collisions. So whenever there would be a collision, the Robot Team Twente robots would be reset. But if there's not a collision, it would just be standing there, and it's very unfortunate. So we still have some movement in the field. It could be that there is a third half. Maybe there is they still want to play. I'm not sure if the game still is being continued, or that we are actually that the both teams are just playing around. It could really be both. We just have to see about it. But it's for now unclear to me what is going on here. As soon as I find out what is going on, I will of course let you know. Is this the third half or something? Is the game still going on, or
this is
the third extensions? The extensions, okay. I just discussed with the assistant referee. These are the extensions, so we are trying to get a winner out of this match. This is the third half, so we are fortunate to see even more robot soccer today. We are not done yet, and we have to look for Earth Force and Tigers Mannheim to see which of the teams is strongest. So ball placement by R-Force, I think, but I am not completely sure. Sometimes it's difficult to see. Now there will be a ball placement by Tigers Mannheim, and after the ball placement they will get the free kick. It looks like Tigers Mannheim is attempting a chip shot, a chip pass, and the chip pass is successful, but after that R-Force already intercepted. R-Force has lost the ball, so now Tigers Mannheim has to attempt ball placement. The ball has left the field, So we have to put the ball back into the field. Looks like there will be a free kick for Tigers Mannheim. But one of the robots has been, one of the robots of Air Force has been taken out for maintenance, and that is very unfortunate timing because there is just this free kick for Tigers Mannheim. But unfortunately for Tigers Mannheim, they missed their shot, and Air Force is preparing to do a free kick.
Is that robot position? Okay.
And another free kick for Air Force. Tigers Mannheim tried to block the shot, but they didn't succeed. Now we are in the stop state. The referee has indicated that we should stop the game for a while, a short while, don't worry. And apparently this is because one of the robots of Air Force has been put back into the game. You can see it in the far corner of the field. One of the robots of Air Force has been taken back into the field, and one of the robots of Tigers Mannheim is taken out of the field. So Tigers Mannheim has received a yellow card, and that means that Tigers Mannheim has to put out that robot for 2 minutes, and if it's the fifth yellow card for Tigers Mannheim, so if they get another yellow card, there will be a penalty for Air Force. So let's hope that doesn't occur for Tigers Mannheim. It looks like Air Force has committed a foul. Robot 3 has been too close to the opponent defense area. So in the far side of the field you will see a Robot 3 which is sending into the defense area of Tigers Mannheim. This is very close. The difference, as you might see on the screen, is less than 1 centimeter. This is a foul, and this might give Air Force the third yellow card, and if that is the case, we will see a penalty in favor of Tigers Mannheim. Again, there is some discussion for the referee. So in robot soccer, it's usually it's different from other competitions. In a lot of competitions in sports, there is a lot of rivalry, but in robot soccer there is a lot of sportsmanship. There is a lot of friendliness. Every team helps each other, so we're working together to get more innovation going, and losing in the robot soccer it's not that bad. It's mostly a fun experience, and it's also about having fun together and working on the same program and on the same systems together. A part of the systems is shared. So, for example, the vision system, every team can contribute to it. There is not a really large organization behind it. The whole robot soccer league is carried by the teams. For example, Tigers Mannheim, they have currently they made a new version of the referee controller, which we are using today. It gives more control to actually detect fouls and decide on what the next game state should be. It's fully written by Tigers Mannheim, and Tigers Mannheim just published that software for every team to use. We also have, for example, a simulator to test without using actual robots. It's made by Parsian. It's a team from outside of Europe. It's from Iran, I believe. And
every team contributes in its own way. So Robot Team Twente has been providing you with live streams. We are very happy to do that. Hopefully Robot Team Twente can give some more to the community in the upcoming years. We really hope we can do that. I see a question. I see two questions even. So, what material do teams use on the driller device? Well, that can differ a lot. There are multiple kinds of rubber being used, but all the three teams today, they use a kind of a tube. It's the same kind of tube you could see in, for example, aquaria, or it's see-through plastic tube, and that's been put over a metal stick, which can turn very hard. It's important for the material to not be too hard, because then it wouldn't have grip on the ball, but it also shouldn't be too soft, because if it's too soft, then it would actually have too much grip on the ball, and then the spin would kick the ball into the ground, lifting the robot a little bit up, and that is very difficult to control. So it's a fine line between keeping grip, but not too much grip. Wat is een rode kaart? Wanneer krijg je een rode kaart? Een vraag. Ik heb geen idee.
I think it's all very serious fouls. So when you're in the defense area and you shoot at people or something like that.
So there's another question. What would trigger a red card? Actually, I have never seen a red card before on any robot soccer match. But a red card can occur on a very serious foul. I would suppose really blocking a robot for a certain shot without the keeper. I am not completely sure on that. I've never seen it happen. Red cards are pretty serious though. What I do know though is that for teams it's also a rule to behave themselves. So if one of the teams, and then I'm not talking about the robots, but I'm talking about the programmers and the mechanics and the electrical engineers, the people on the sides of the line, they should behave and be friendly towards each other. It's about sportsmanship. If people start yelling or something, that will give you penalties, and the referee has the right to penalize your team for that, and that's also something that could occur in red cards or even in immediately losing the game. So the Robot Soccer League is all about innovation. It's about working together in a fun way to get the innovations on artificial intelligence going, and to think out of the box with mechanical designs. You cannot see it in the screen right now. Air Force is trying ball placement. It's right under the camera. Air Force didn't succeed, but Tigers Mannheim did succeed on the ball placement and is taking the free kick. The free kick is very close to the goal of Air Force, but Air Force managed to block the pass already, and now there will be another free kick for Tigers Mannheim. At first they have to do ball placement. It's in the left corner of the screen. You can see the ball being placed by Tigers Mannheim, and there is a chip shot, and a very nice pass by Tigers Mannheim. This is some beautiful play. It's very hard to actually control the ball under these circumstances, but Tigers Mannheim managed to do it. Unfortunately, they didn't get a goal out of it, because Air Force is also a very strong team. So I've been into robot soccer for almost 1 year right now, and I have to admit this is one of the best games I've ever seen. There are not that many malfunctioning robots, and the tactics are clearly visible. Both teams know what they're doing. I hear some people playing the live stream in the background, so I hear my own voice. It's about 20 seconds delayed. Slightly confusing. So at this point we can see Air Force having three robots in the offense, and Tigers Mannheim is fully defending. But in robot soccer it can change pretty quickly what happens. Ball placement of the Air Force. Tigers Mannheim tries to block the pass, but Air Force is smart and chips over it. And here Air Force keeps control of the ball, which is very nicely done. They prevented the intercept by Tigers Mannheim. Tigers Mannheim also is harassing robot number 1 by Air Force very, very good. And Air Force has to be careful here, because Tigers Mannheim... Oh, that it looked like in the enthusiasm I totally missed the fact that the extensions already finished. It's still no goals, so these teams are really equal. I have another question by Willem the 20. Is there a type of force feedback so the robot can sense if it has the ball? That is not the case, as far as I know. So the cameras are pretty accurate. So it is possible to see by the cameras if the robot has the ball. If you see the ball disappearing behind your own robot, you can already derive from that knowledge that it probably has the ball or is close to the ball. So you can drive a few centimeters forward, and then you are almost sure you have the ball. So that's just one of the tactics that's used. What's also possible, I see by, for example, Air Force, they have a camera in front of the robot. If you look closely to the front of their robots, there is a hole above the dribbler, above the kicker. There's a camera, and that camera, using that camera, they are able to see if they have the ball. So it's not really force feedback; it's more a sensing feedback using either a camera or, from Robot Team Twente that we use infrared sensors. I do not know from Tigers Mannheim what they do use. Maybe they use the cameras. Maybe they also use some kind of. Infrared sensor. To be sure of that, I should have to take a closer look at their robots, and I'm currently not in the position to do so. The detection of the tigers, how tigers detect if they have the ball.
Oh yeah, they have some sort of internal ball state. That ball was not envisioned. Yellows, they couldn't even know there was a ball there. Tigers were like, yeah, ball is just there, we'll place it.
Right. So I just had a short talk with the assistant referee, and I asked, of course, the question, how does Tigers Mannheim know if they have the ball? And it looks like they just have a very smart artificial intelligence. They just predict where they think would be the ball. And as we already saw, their ball placement almost never fails. So apparently that works very well. It's also a kind of statement maybe that you don't need to have sensors for everything. A lot of problems can be solved in software only. So the comments today are by Lucas from Robot Team Twente. Robot Team Twente is currently the team that is being the referee, and we are doing everything to make sure that the game is being fair and we are going into the next extension, I think. Or yes. So the kickoff will be taken by blue team, by Tigers Mannheim, and they will start with a nice pass, but unfortunately the receiver didn't succeed at receiving the pass. If you're not familiar with robot soccer, you might wonder why this is such a difficult thing, but it actually is a challenge to get it working. There is so much going on, and there is so little time to respond to the ball being moved. So even a thing that looks simple, like receiving a pass, is actually it takes educated people months to maybe years to get it just right. The game is being halted at this point. I'm not sure why. It might be vision problems. I see the vision expert looking closely at the screen, but now I hear that the referee indicates that we should resume the game. There is one of the blue robots is too close to the kick point, but as you can see, there are two robots close to the ball, one from Air Force and one from Tigers Mannheim. But the robot from Tigers Mannheim is not allowed to be that close to the ball because Air Force has to take a kickoff. However, it's also not allowed to go further into the defense area. So the proper way to go would be to go firstly to drive past the ball and then get further away again. This is really an edge case, what just occurred, and it's not something that you would usually expect in a game. So because of that, it was probably a deadlock. It is a foul, but it's a very minor thing. In the corners next to the defense area, there are a lot of fouls because it's pretty difficult to program your software to tune it just right for these edge cases. So we see a lot of play. We have the robot by Tigers Mannheim, which is competing on the ball with Air Force. They just lost the ball, both of them, so it's unclear which robot should take the kickoff. Apparently Air Force has the kickoff. It will try a pass, but the new robot by Tigers Mannheim has intercepted it. It should be noted that it's impressive that Tigers Mannheim is playing with two different robots in the field. They probably have to write. They probably should have written some software because these robots will probably behave differently. So they might have to use different motor controls. They maybe have some different sizes, some different kick speeds, chip speeds. So it's already impressive to play with multiple types of robots in the field. It's of course it's possible, but it should be noted that there for every detail, everything that happens, someone has been working hours on it. For example, now doing the ball placement, just taking the ball from the side of the field. There are very good programmers. They have to think a lot about the vector calculus behind this. There is so much going on, and it all has to be centimeter perfect. It all has to be calibrated just right. So what you see here, it's state of the art. So we are in the second extension. After this extension there will not be another goal, then we will traverse into the penalties. So let's see if Air Force can set up a new attack. It looks like Tigers Mannheim just intercept. One of the robots of Air Force has crashed into the side of the field, apparently because the vision is lost. But we shouldn't worry too much about it because these robots are designed to take a hit. Ball placement by Tigers. And more ball placement. I'm sorry. Now it's ball placement by Tigers, and they will take a kickoff. I am wondering if they will traverse into an offensive strategy. Looks like being offensive against Air Force is working better than being defensive. So, and they immediately put 3 robots in the offense, but Air Force has smartly intervened, and the ball is in the possession of Air Force right now. Air Force tried to do an instant shot at goal. It can be a tactic to just whenever you cannot see a decent pass, to just shoot at goal. Maybe you're lucky and you will hit something, but often it doesn't work. We have already saw it a lot of times this match, and blindly shooting at a goal, has never worked for any of the teams yet. This is an indication that these teams are very good. The defense is working very neatly. They both don't give any space. So a lot of passing is happening, and the ball is currently in the defense area of Tigers Mannheim. But Air Force almost had a very nice attack, but it has been blocked by Tigers Mannheim, and the ball has been turned out of the field, and it looks like some parts have come loose, so we had to halt the game again. There is still almost 2 minutes of playtime left in this extension. If within these 2 minutes there is not a goal, then we will have to traverse into the penalties. At this moment, all the robots are being put out of the field, so it looks like there is maybe we already finished the second extension. I was already wondering why we would have so much time left in the extension. I personally would expect penalties right now, but maybe there are technical difficulties. If there are technical difficulties, we'll have to stop, but I cannot imagine that there are technical difficulties because everything has been working fine for the whole day. Please keep watching. I'll certainly expect some penalties still, and then let's see if it is going to be Tigers Mannheim again, or is it going to be Air Force taking the revanche? So for the penalties to actually be taken, I'm wondering where the second robot of Air Force is, maybe of Tigers Mannheim. It might be that Tigers Mannheim will do the penalties with only one robot, so the robot has to change between being a keeper and being a shooter. So the assistant referee is placing the ball in front of the goal of Air Force, and Tigers Mannheim is probably preparing to shoot the penalty. I see that the referee is currently looking up the rules, and there might be some discussion about what the next step is going to be.
Yes, I will come to that. It's not
Het is een mooie wedstrijd, hè? So there is some discussion where to place the ball. Apparently there are penalties, but the penalties are not taken from the defense line. They have to be taken at a different position. At 6 meters from the goal, apparently. So the assistant referee has just placed the ball at approximately 6 meters from the goal of Air Force. This is a very large distance. So there is in the cameras there is usually a delay of about 70 milliseconds, and the ball has kind of a maximum speed of 6.5 meters per second. So the camera has only a fraction of a second to actually. It will be about a second between the shot and the ball reaching the ball. So within that second, the system of the defending team has to decide where the ball is going to be and calculate the position for the keeper to be, and then defending it. So within that time, the keeper has to calculate its position, drive towards him, and make sure that the ball doesn't deflect in the goal as well. So the timing has to be just right. If the keeper is there too early, it might overshoot, and the ball can then still enter the goal. Otherwise, if it's too late, if the keeper is too late, it's not fortunate either. So the timing has to be exactly right. Air Force has another robot defending. This is a stop strategy. This is obviously not a real penalty setup. Currently a robot of Air Force is going out of the way. and Tigers Mannheim has to take a shot. But Air Force has blocked the penalty very nicely. So now there will be a chance for Air Force to take a shot. So at this point, Tigers Mannheim still has one robot in the field. It's their new robot, by the way. This robot has to become a keeper because otherwise they are going to be in big trouble. Defending a penalty without a keeper is problematic to say the least. It's very likely that Air Force would score, but luckily Tigers Mannheim managed to get their robot to be a keeper. So Air Force will take the shot. It dribbles apparently a lot, that's legal apparently, and a very nice shot, but just next to the goal. So Tigers is lucky there, very nice defense. And now the ball has been placed again, and it's up to Tigers Mannheim to try it again. And Tigers Mannheim just shoots at one of the sides of the goal, but Air Force keeper is defending very well. I have a question: why is the penalty too far from the goal? The thing is that if you would take a penalty closer, that there is not enough time for the camera to actually interpret the images, and then there just wouldn't be enough time for the keeper to respond. So this distance is pretty large, and that is because in this case it's a little bit more fair. Both robots have the keeper has a little bit more time to respond to the ball. This has to do with the delay in the system. However, if even after these penalties, the score would be the same for both teams, then the penalty distance will be decreased. But for now, we'll still have an amount of penalties from this distance. Air Force takes an approach to first dribble a little bit. If you dribble too far, the keeper is able to go out of the goal a little bit, and the keeper will block the entire line of sight for the Air Force robot. Here you can clearly see that it's very difficult to actually get this working properly. The Tigers Mannheim just replaced robots. They replaced their new robot with one of their old robots called Gandalf. But Gandalf does not pass. Yeah, the penalty is deliberately taken very far from the goal. It has to do with vision. It has to do with the delay in the system. If the penalty would be closer to the goal, then it would be very easy. Then it would be very easy to score, and this way we can have a little bit more tension. There it is. Why are the penalties that far? So it's actually in official rules for a penalty shootout to have this distance. both teams are. It looks like they are equal. These teams. It doesn't look like they can decide on a winner. Even in the shootouts, there is so much going on here. That the strength of these teams. They are forcing each other to try as hard as they can. They just don't allow any space. Tigers Mannheim is off to try and shoot again. So almost everyone in the room is closely watching what's going to happen. We see a lot of red shirts in the right side corner. Robot Team 20 is watching, and even some old members of Robot Team Robot Team 20 have come from all over the country to see this, to see the robots perform. This is actually in the Netherlands. It's not happening often that we see a robot soccer league. There are 2 robot soccer teams in the Netherlands. There is Tech United from Eindhoven in the medium-sized league, and there is Robot Team 20 in the small-sized league. Tech United has been doing very well in the medium-sized league for lots of years. I just hear that the teams have agreed on a draw, so there is not a winner today. Of course, in the match between Air Force and Tigers Mannheim this morning, Tigers Mannheim won with 2 goals, and Air Force didn't score any goal. And in this game, there has been a draw. So the team leader of Robot Team 20, Robot Team 20 is the organizing party today, is giving the prize to Tigers Mannheim. Tigers Mannheim won this morning. Tigers Mannheim has won this cup, has won this practice tournament. A very nice achievement. Now there will be a group picture. So apparently I should leave my current position because I really want to be on this picture. I'm a member of Robot Team 20 and I'm proud to be part of organizing these events, and I'm also proud to be part of our team. Hopefully we'll be doing a little bit better at the Robo Cup, because at this practice tournament we unfortunately couldn't really show what we were capable of. So the teams are getting some of the robots. The robots, of course, should be in the team picture as well. And Tigers Mannheim is getting their mascot out there. Of course, it's a tiger. Let's hope it's going to be a nice picture, because this is quite an event. We even reached the Dutch newspapers with it. In the Netherlands, this doesn't appear often. And we actually hope that we can do this again next year. It's a very nice opportunity for the teams to practice a few weeks before the Robo Cup. It's a nice deadline for your new systems to be finished, and it's also a very nice opportunity to test some stuff, so that you can use the last weeks before the Robo Cup to get the final bugs out of your system. So yes, I will be leaving this live stream for now. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask them on social media. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Robot Team 20. Of course, also follow the other teams, Tigers Mannheim and Air Force. All the teams have a website. So please make sure to contact us, and we are looking forward to perform some games again in the few weeks at the RoboCup in Sydney, Australia. Thank you very much for watching. And
Well, have a good day.